Patrick Henry, who opposed ratification of the Constitution before the Virginia legislature, observed that a Bill of Rights may be summed up in a few words. If they are not used, Henry warned, the officers of Congress may come upon you, fortified with all the terrors of paramount federal authority. In South Carolina, James Lincoln complained that he would be glad to know why, in this Constitution, there is a total silence with respect to the liberty of the press. Was it forgotten? Impossible. Then it must have been purposely omitted, and with what design, good or bad, he left the world to judge. The liberty of the press was the tyrant's scourge. It was the true friend and firmest supporter of civil liberty. Therefore, why pass it by in silence? In New York, Cincinnatus, one of a number of anonymous critics of the newly drafted Constitution, argued that not only is some power given in the Constitution to restrain and even to subject the press, but that the power to do so was totally unlimited, and may certainly annihilate the freedom of the press and convert it from being the palladium of liberty to become an engine of imposition and tyranny. It is an easy step from restraining the press to making it place the worst actions of government in so favorable a light that we may groan under tyranny and oppression without knowing from whence it comes. Responses from opponents of including a Bill of Rights in the Constitution offered views similar to those uttered by Sherman during the Constitutional Convention itself. Why, Alexander Hamilton responded, in much-quoted questions he posed in Federalist No. 84, should the character of the newly reorganized government declare that things shall not be done which there is no power to do? Why, for instance, should it be said that the liberty of the press should not be restrained when no power is given by which restrictions may be imposed? In fact, Hamilton argued, the Constitution is itself, in every rational sense, and to every useful purpose, a Bill of Rights. Other opponents of adding a Bill of Rights offered similar views. Where, Virginia Governor Randolph asked, is the page in the Constitution where freedom of the press is restrained? If there had been any regulation about it, leaving it insecure, then there might have been reason for clamors. But this is not the case. If it be, I again ask for the particular clause which gives liberty to destroy the freedom of the press. Others mocked the very notion of a Bill of Rights. No Bill of Rights, Roger Sherman observed, ever yet bound the supreme power longer than the honeymoon of a newly married couple. And why, John Dickinson asked, was a Bill of Rights needed? Do we want to be reminded that the sun enlightens, warms, invigorates, and cheers? Or how horrid would it be to have his blessed beams intercepted by our being thrust into mines or dungeons? Noah Webster, tongue deeply in cheek, suggested that if a list of inalienable rights were to be added to the Constitution, it should include a clause stating that everybody shall, in good weather, hunt on his own land, and catch fish in rivers that are public property, and that Congress shall never restrain any inhabitant of America from eating and drinking at seasonable times, or prevent his lying on his left side in a long winter's night. Madison had initially opposed the inclusion of a Bill of Rights, disparaging any such document as a useless parchment barrier which will never be regarded when opposed to the decided sense of the public. By the time Congress met in 1789, however, he had changed his strategy, if not his views. On a personal level, he had been shocked almost to have been defeated for re-election to the House by James Monroe, his later successor as president, who had actively supported the adoption of a Bill of Rights. At the same time, opponents of ratification of the Constitution were using the absence of a Bill of Rights as a basis for rejecting it, and seemed likely to be preparing crippling amendments of their own that might make ratification significantly less likely. It would be better, he wrote to a friend, that amendments would appear to be the free gift of the friends of the Constitution, rather than having been extorted from them by its enemies. Madison responded by shifting his position from opponent to draftsman, preparing the first draft of the document and introducing it to the House of Representatives of the first